Technically, you gotta call this our last training camp show. I think tomorrow's a game preview show. This is kind of wraps up training camp. I know the Colts were done with their facility today for camp. It's sad, but
might start crying.
This is gonna be great.
This is like the holiday season being over for you.
It really is. It's like when you find out Santa's not real.
Kids are watching.
Whoa. Like literally the number one mistake you can make in media. You just made it. Someone is going to be listening to this in their car tomorrow extremely mad.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. You lied anyway. So.
Well, we can edit it out.
Anyway, Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Riggs Jr., Will DeWitt with you right now as we recap the second of two joint practices between the Bears and Colts just down the street here at Grand Sports Complex. Nicholas Moreano is also in the building. Will join us here in a little bit as he gets all the coverage up on ALLCITY.com. Lawrence Benedetto producing as always.
Hey, it's not really as always. I mean, Braggs is a producer now, so.
Yeah, but I like to think only you do it.
All right, yeah. I mean, I won't be here Saturday either. Sorry about that.
Carm, are you with us?
I am. Okay. I'm just checking the just retweeting the old show out there and seeing what's going on in the world and thinking about the fact that Greg Braggs, when he was walking off the practice field to the start of this show, just looked at me with the saddest eyes of all time and just said, "I had a great time." he really
had a great time.
You had a great time. Yeah, in the microphone.
Yes.
These are very directionally oriented microphones. So yeah, I got you, Lawrence. Thank you.
Yeah.
But, big news. Adam, I know you want to start there with Matt Eberflus just casually dropping in the press conference tonight. Yeah, Joe Justin's not going to play Saturday. We decided that last night.
They did. That. So not even before the second practice, they said, okay, this is going well enough. Don't need to see him play in the game because he's getting enough looks against an opponent in these practices. I'm okay with it if he plays next week.
Interesting.
So I'm putting a caveat on it. I still think that he needs some more live reps against another team. So I'm willing to accept the fact that he got those the last 2 days. Sure, it's not a game, but it's actually safer than a game.
Not a game.
It's practice.
It's practice.
Practice. We're talking about practice.
Thank you. I guarantee Nick didn't get that. Okay.
He just doesn't know what Little Giants is. It's okay.
Or Norm Macdonald.
We schooled him in Norm Macdonald yesterday. But yeah, it's disappointing that Fields won't play Saturday. I mean, we just are obviously enjoying, like last week was just so much fun. And now we get the PJ Walker experiment. Hopefully he can, bounce back from a really rough camp, and like you said, if Justin Fields plays in that third preseason game, which I think he will, then I don't have an issue with it. But I do think he will.
My look at it is he had 3 passes last week that were behind the line of scrimmage. These were 2 solid practices, and he had a great stanza today, which everybody apparently reported correctly was 8 for 8 with 4 touchdowns, and I had him 9 for 9 with 3 touchdowns. Whatever. It was a great segment. He looked fantastic. He was spreading the ball around. I wanted to see him play Saturday night. I'm not exactly sure what went into the decision. I do partly wonder, because it was super chippy yesterday, if they just kind of got spooked and were worried that he was just going to get hurt, and he's out there enough, and we don't need to do this. And there's sort of some bubbling hatred that's building between the Bears and the Colts, seeing each other, who both two hungry teams, and we're going to have another practice tomorrow. There'll probably be more stuff, and then building into Saturday. We don't want to put him in that position, but I would have liked to see him play.
So you're not buying the amount of reps? Because Eberflus referenced that.
I think it's just more of a matter of they're controlled in practice. I think the coaches love these joint practices because they can simulate the things you want to see against an opponent in these preseason games, but they can't hit the quarterback. And we saw some of the annoyance today from Flus when Kenny Moore did kind of hit the quarterback just a little bit, and Justin was shaking out his hand because of it. And Flus and Kenny Moore go way back from him coaching in Indy, and they talked it out, and it was fine. But, that's why I could see – and remember, Justin took a couple shots yesterday too. Yep. So if they came out of that practice yesterday being like, all right, let's make sure that, this is all he needs this week, and we don't need to see him play in the game.
And he said, Coach Flus also mentioned, yesterday and today's practice counts as, 2 preseason games, for them and their film and what they wanted to see out of him. So if you take – yesterday, you take today, and you say, hey, that's 2 games for him not to play Saturday, I think would make a lot of sense. But I see both sides. Obviously, I'm going to Lucas Oil. They're letting me back in the stadium. I'm going to go cover this game. And I would love to go see Justin play. That makes it a little bit more fun. And that makes it a lot more fun for Bears fans watching. I get it. But at the same time, I think the Bears got what they needed this week out of him. And I think we saw good things yesterday, Nick and I, when we were watching the offense. It seems like it translated here today pretty well. So I'll take the 2 positive days and just let him take his time on the bench here on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought it was competitive Flus press conference. A lot of people had questions for him today. I just wanted to get in there and say it was, man. I had to find
including Braggs.
Yeah, we can get to that in a second.
I mean, that's what I thought you were going with.
Well, well, fine. We can go there right now. You asking questions, and when we get to best and worst, as I was saying, that is my best. It is so unbelievable.
It's not the worst.
No, I can't even contain myself. I have to
the worst was your tee shot on 1 today.
I have to literally put my head down and bite my shirt when you start talking, because you have great content, but you're just, maybe it's just a new voice in there for him.
The word is loud.
You're like a bird in the back. Back, Fields. And I'm just like, oh my God. I think they're gonna ban CHGO right now. It is so unbelievably.
For the record, he used real words, and actually the question was pretty good.
It
was just loud.
It is so.
But he was in the back. He's fighting for.
I'm trying to get a good picture.
I got it. I got it.
Flus respected the question.
Flus gave you a good look down and answered, and it was a good question. I don't even remember what it was, but it was fine.
It was essentially the question was to Matt Eberflus. Yeah, I had to get mine in. It's my one opportunity for the year to ask directly to the head coach some of my questions. And this is something we've talked about all through training camp, is how good Justin Fields has looked, in particular in 7-on-7s. And today that was on full display. 8 for 8, 4 touchdowns, and even more so than some of these other training camps where most of the 7-on-7s were underneath routes, checkdowns, getting the ball out quick. Some of these were on double moves to St. Brown, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, corner of the end zone, tight window throw today to Cole Kmet. And, gripping and ripping. I mean, he's shown a lot of confidence in 7-on-7s. So that just shows you, if you give Justin Fields time and space to throw, he's going to thread the needle. And so what I asked Matt Eberflus is that a reasonable transition that he can make quickly and not be the quarterback that he was last year, doing everything on his own?
Right. And you had an angle that you were following, and you wanted to get confirmation from the coach. I thought all of that was lovely.
Sweet.
And it was basically an argument that me and you were having. Like, can he just, you were saying, like, can he just do short passes? And Flus also said, he's like, I want to see him go down the field too. It's not just short passes. So I appreciated the Flus siding with at the Carm. Thank you, Matt Eberflus. But more importantly, it was that, I don't even remember what we were talking about at the start of this.
Well, how the quarterback's not playing Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, so I was fighting for did Fields push back on it? Thank you for that's why you're the mansion. Did Fields push back on it? And he's like, well, of course he always wants to play. So I don't know, we have no idea how much what that conversation was like, but I imagine when they go to him, Justin, you're not playing, he's got to be like, come on, really? You're not going to let me spin it against these guys I just saw him for 2 days? I want to, I'm working on being the best I can possibly be come Green Bay, and let me play in the football game. But, he said, but of course he wants to play, and we're going to protect the player from themselves. That's their job.
Now, on the idea of will Justin play next week if he's not playing Saturday, just to point out, last year, Justin Fields did play in that last preseason game. Went 14-16, 156 yards, and 3 touchdowns. If you guys remember against the Browns, it was actually a pretty decent performance. So I can see the scenario.
Seahawks.
No, in the last preseason game against the Browns, I'm talking about.
Last year.
I'm saying if he's not playing Saturday, will he play in the final preseason game? The precedent is already set that last year he played in all of them.
Correct.
So I'm kind of using that as a basis of, well, if he's not going to get reps, and you heard Flus also say, I'd like to see it. I'd love to do these joint practices next week if they could, but they can't. So
I don't if he's going to miss the preseason game. To me, that's great. They simulated practice. You find out more, without the risk of injury. But at the same time, when we were talking with Tevin Jenkins, he mentioned it's for the trenches only get to do so much at camp. And it's very, they're going to make sure everybody's protected. They can't, bowl people over like we saw in the preseason game. So how do you get a fair representation of what the offense is going to be until the live bullets are flying? They have to play Justin Fields and the starters in the third preseason game. Else, how many weeks is that before week 1 where he's not playing live action?
I get that. My perspective would be, though, if he doesn't play this week and if, say, they just don't want to play him next week, as much as it sucks for us because we want to see him out there. And Adam made a great point where he played in all the preseason last year. I think that would just show the growth that he's had with his coaching staff and the confidence that they have in him more so than last year. Because last year, new coaching staff comes in. What do we have in Justin? They had to use the preseason to kind of figure that out. And now that they've been together for over a year, if they're more comfortable with him on the sidelines, I think it's just a testament of how close they are and how much they believe that he can be that guy and he doesn't need those sorts of reps.
Tom Brady always used to play every preseason game. I've always been a strong proponent that you got to get ready for week 1. The only way you can get ready is by playing. And it takes me back to those days of Matt Nagy where he would sit the starters, act like they didn't have anything to work on but their kicker, and then they got kicked in the mouth week 1 against Green Bay. I'm not down with that.
And that's exactly why I'm taking the stance of, and it was my initial reaction when he said it, I'm okay with this as long as he plays next week. If they hold him out next week, then I'm with you. That's over a month, I think,
It'd be pretty close
from playing a game, any game action. So my guess is he does play next week because there are no joint practices, and there weren't joint practices last year, which is probably why he played all 3 preseason games. We should also point out, he mentioned a handful of starters, other starters too. Maybe it's all of them for all we know. And he said that he talked to some of the backups both after practice and last night about the opportunity they're going to get to play more. And I happen to notice a little powwow Flus was having with Larry Borum, Jervon Dexter, and Isaiah Ford after practice, which with the added context that he said he was talking to some of the guys after some of the backups after practice about playing, I imagine that he was probably telling those guys, hey, this is your opportunity to play a lot tomorrow. I wouldn't shock me if Larry Borum starts at left tackle. Jervon Dexter starts the game and gets a good amount of playing time as a rookie. I would hope Darnell Wright still plays. That's one I have a question about because he had 7 snaps last week.
3 pass sets.
And he's a rookie. Mm-hmm. So I would have, if you're going to sit Braxton Jones, fine. Have Larry Borum start at left tackle, and then I would still play Darnell Wright. That's how I would handle it, but who knows what they'll do.
I completely agree as far as Darnell Wright needs to be out there. And there is a lot of guys who have some ways to go to be comfortable in the offense. Number one, look, PJ Walker. I I'm like the most positive PJ Walker guy in the room, but he needs to be better. Nicholas Moreano is going to be on the show in the second half of this. Is shaking his head on the couch right now, and a lot of people are saying like that he's just had a bad camp. But he's going to play a ton on Saturday, so we'll see. But the list of people not practicing tonight is getting lengthier and lengthier. Eddie Jackson, Jaquan Brister, Chase Claypool, Bayless Jones, Tyler Scott, Treston Ebner, Josh Blackwell, Tremaine Edmonds, Lucas Patrick. I mean, it is a long list of key guys that are not going right now. So, and none of the injuries, I guess, are serious. So that's good, but they are a little bit of a banged up club at the present moment.
Let's get to best and worst, and maybe the worst is all the guys sitting out. And it was surprising not to see Bayless Jones out there for one, because he had a great practice yesterday. He didn't seem to have an injury. Eddie Jackson we knew about. Flus did say that's not serious, which is good, because I was slightly worried there for a minute that he re-aggravated that foot injury.
The way he said it was not serious, too. Like, it was like a very smiling, Flusy moment that actually made you believe him.
Yeah, and there was a good follow-up. I want to say maybe Jason Leisure asked it, just are they still here? Like, they weren't sent home for, a follow-up with the doctor or anything. Cody Whitehair left practice today. And that's one. Like, who's going to play center if Doug Kramer's starting the game tomorrow? Like, who's the backup center?
Lug. You're going to get some lug, man.
The lug nut?
The lug
Your
nut.
guy?
He was out there today, man. Lug nut is going to be plugged in. He's going to screw the lug nut right in, and he's going to lug.
And the offense is going to spin.
Exactly right.
That's what's going to happen. Okay. I'm with you.
Bajan is going to be feeling the love of lug.
I know. We'll get to the supers. Best and worst. Okay, my best, without a doubt. Our guy, Brandon. Never had this happen in the history of me covering any sports. Practice over. He yells out, Adam, says hi. I figure it's just one of our awesome CHGO, diehards saying hi. And we love seeing you out there in camp. And the last 2 days, so many of them down here. Incredible. But as Nick's going to hand me right now, our guy Brandon, pizza.
Pizza.
Did you guys eat all the pizza? You guys are.
Well,
I had
did you want
one
some?
piece.
Oh.
This thing was light.
Poor Hoge.
But he heard the show yesterday, and me complaining about how Braggs and Carm took all the food in the media room, and he was nice enough to provide a pizza.
Amazing.
Love him.
And the whole
Brandon,
media circle, we were the envy of the whole.
Yeah, they were like, "Where'd that pizza come from?"
They were circling. They were circling
Well,
like
yeah,
buzzards.
Braggs, you're now part of the media. Now you understand what it's like in any media room. It's any free food. It's like vultures.
And it's Hot Box, right? He said his buddy owns one of the Hot Box. So shout out to Hot Box. Shout out to Brandon. That was the best. It was a great practice, great setting. But you're gonna hand me a pizza at the end of practice. That's gonna make the best of practice.
Yep,
it's a good one. Your worst?
The fact there's only one piece left.
I didn't have any of it for the record. So I'm not sure who's doing what around here. But
no, I'll get you a worst. I'm just gonna go with the guys that were out. Seeing Cody Whitehair lead practice was not great. Although it looks like they were just like checking out his hand or something. Again, probably not too serious. So the Flus did not have an update on that one.
Doesn't the center need a hand?
That's what makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Just checking.
And Johns, I somehow missed it. Johns mentioned to me when that happened that apparently he dislocated a finger or something earlier in camp. So I didn't know that or whatever. So maybe that was just a re-aggravation. But just the amount of guys out, especially on the interior of that line, it's looking thin. So that's my worst of practice. And the best before the pizza would have been just Flus jumping in the scrums.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw this. You were with me. When Flus walked in for his press conference, he gave me some knuckles, and I was like, I thought you were going to jump in there today a little bit. And he was like, yeah, I did. And he was like dead serious.
Yeah.
And then he got asked about it in the press conference by somebody else. And he's like, yeah, I'm not afraid to go in there. I'm not going to back down.
I love that.
That's what Flus is just.
Eberflux.
He is.
Oh,
That was
Eberflus.
good.
Okay.
He is
Eberflus.
flexed out.
Yep.
Okay.
Remember the
still
photos
got
from
it.
the owners' meetings earlier this year?
that's true.
And he's he's got just enough badass that you don't want to mess with him.
We really should have in that press conference when he said that. Can you show us your chest? Let's go. Let's. We know.
No, we definitely should not.
No one should have said that.
We should have. That would have been. Let him. He wants to show it to you. He wants to show it to you.
So if I had asked that, how would it have
Oh
sounded?
no, you would have been thrown out of the state.
Can you show us your chest?
He does have, as much as they drive me crazy, his impersonations are great.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right.
Best and worst.
Best and worst, gone off the rails once again.
So, all right, my best, just along the spirit of Hoge tonight, sat Brian Hopkins from Mount Carmel shouted out me and Lawrence walking through the crowd tonight. We actually sat with 3 of Braggs' people, Chris, Heath, and Alex. They were super nice. And I ran into another Chris at the very end who was wearing a 23 more jersey as he was walking out. So just the people saying hello, always appreciate it. My best on the field tonight was the Justin Fields 8 for 8 / 9 for 9. Apparently I got that one wrong again, but it was
That turned out to be a big. I'm catching up on some tweets. Apparently, that argument took over the Bears Twitter world of whether I was right or you were wrong.
Those little details, man. Bears Twitter.
You messed up.
Apparently, you were getting people in the media who were going at my tweet.
No, others were pointing out Carm said 9 for 9, and we all checked with each other because we're in the business of making sure we're being factual.
So
we all checked our notes with each other, and all of us had 8 for 8. So we were like, Carm's wrong again.
We were literally sitting there counting them, so I don't know how I blew it.
We were sitting there kind of. Then I showed him Johns' tweet, and I was like, "Hey, look."
Oh,
this says,
Braggs was counting the throws like he was counting his golf strokes today.
No,
he would have been one short then. He would have been one short, not one over.
Don't do this because he was counting with me. But then we showed Johns' tweet, and I was like, "Hey, you guys," and he was like, 9 for 9, 8 for 8. Doesn't matter.
That's right. It doesn't.
Regardless, it was 100%.
Well, what was cool?
Right, exactly.
Well,
no incompletions. That's what you said.
Well, but actually, I wouldn't have minded an incompletion. What I liked about it is that he was spreading the ball around all of the field, left corner of the end zone, right corner of the end zone, down the middle, different guys, all over the place for touchdowns. Exactly.
DJ Moore had a great catch.
And he was, it's 7-on-7. No one's rushing. Guys are going to be open, so I don't want to go too crazy on it. But it was it was an impressive stanza for sure.
And I just want to bring this up, like when people got mad at me in June for being like critical about the ball hitting the ground. This is what I'm talking about. This is what Flus was talking about. 7-on-7 is supposed to look like that. Yep. What we saw today. Maybe it doesn't have to be 100%, but you're not supposed to have half of the balls hit the ground. It's supposed to. It's advantageous for the offense, and you should at least be able to find an easy check down completion in that situation. So when those periods of practice go off the rails and don't look good, that's what I don't like to see. Today was just a perfect example of it looking how it's supposed to look.
Yep, I liked it a ton. My worst, and this is just my own worries, but Jaquan Brisker's been out for a while. And he was giving everybody high fives today, and he's super positive, and I love his attitude and all of it. But I am getting nervous for the amount of time that he has missed. There is no explanation about it, and the fact that he did miss a bunch of time last year coming back from a concussion. So I'm just a little nervous about it, and I would feel really great to see him back on the field whenever that's going to be. Obviously, it's not going to be this week. So, and maybe it won't be in the preseason, but I'm looking forward to seeing 9 back out there.
Even though he's not out there on the field, Nick and I were watching today, and when they're doing the red zone work, whether it be 11-on-11 or 7-on-7, he's standing behind the end zone. He has the play call sheet. He gets the call, and he's going through. Even you can tell he's locked into his position. He's doing the hand signal, so like whatever the adjustments that need to be made, he's out there doing it. And then throughout the entire rep, he is laser focused on what his job should be, what those handoffs would be on those routes, and you can just tell that he's putting in like pure mental reps. I know it's not exactly the same as being out there on the field and running around, but at least mentally fully engaged, and that's going to really help him get back up to speed pretty quickly once he's healthy enough to be on the field.
Yeah, and to what I'm talking about, that's huge because he is out there and he's lucid and he's moving around and he's the engagement is high. So maybe my concerns will be completely overblown and whatnot. But I'd love to see him back out there.
My best and worst have to do with today, but also just the totality of camp. Now that this is the last camp, and I think both play. Andrew Billings is my best. He made a few really nice plays. Every time they try to run up the middle, and then I'm waiting to see who's getting up from the pile, it's Andrew Billings in the middle of it every time stuffing the run. And so I've seen that pretty much throughout camp from the start to the end. So I'm very encouraged about him in the middle of that defensive line, adding to the rookies and Jones in that company. So, when the season comes around, I think that's going to be really good. But my worst, again, today and all of camp, PJ Walker. And we're going to see this here on Saturday and see if he can, rebound from camp. It was a bad camp for him. There's just no way to get around it. Today, he threw an interception completely behind a wide receiver down the middle of the field. It was an ugly throw. And I don't know if we're at a point. I don't think that never in my wildest dreams would I ever think Bajent is going to be, competing to be the backup quarterback. And I don't know if we're there yet, but PJ Walker, it's been ugly with a capital U.
Yeah, I don't know about backup quarterback, but I don't know if you guys saw. I feel like Bajent was the third quarterback today.
Interesting.
Did you guys see Peterman?
I didn't even notice Peterman. Now that you
He
bring
was
it
out
up.
there a few times.
I mean, I know he was there, but and I think with the joint practices, limited reps, it seemed like especially when they were team drills, only the 1s and 2s were getting reps. Mm-hmm. So, and that part of that's just I think you're getting later in camp too. But
yeah, I mean,
anyway,
with PJ Walker, it's just everything is overthrown. Thrown behind, it's never on target. So I'm concerned.
I understand that. My best, it's definitely going to be this Bears secondary. We mentioned both starting safeties weren't out there, but it didn't matter what drills going on between 7-on-7 or 11-on-11. That secondary was coming to play. You see Jalen Johnson locking down Michael Pittman Jr. You see Jalen Jones coming in real strong in the end zone a couple times with some PBUs, knocking that ball free. You see on the other side of the field, too, you see Kyler Gordon come away with an interception on Joshua.
That was a nasty
wasn't
pick.
it? Yeah, going one-on-one against Joshua Downs in the end zone and coming away with that pick and running right at me. That was pretty cool. So I just think that secondary stepping up today was the best thing that I saw today. And unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of bad from this Bears defense. I think good thing, bad for this segment, good thing on the field. So maybe the worst thing I saw on the field was Carm running that 20-yard sprint at the end of practice would probably be
It was bad. It was
would be
bad.
up
you
there.
were walking.
Yeah, it was basically walking. Yeah.
It's just, we played golf today. I played tennis the other day. The body's not right. Body's not
Nick
right.
ran 5 miles today.
Nick's 22 years old. I'm climbing uphill right now. Let's just be honest.
Okay. Yeah, he is kind of half your age if you think about it.
He's my son.
Yeah, could
Carm is his daddy.
Let's not go crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. I just said that. Yes.
Is there any starter that you're leaving camp, if it's not an injury, that you're concerned about, that didn't have a good camp, that you're worried about going into the season?
I like that question. Let's save it for a second because that's a good question. I know we got some super chats we got to get to.
Oh my God, we have 1,000 super chats. We have.
If we have 1,000 super chats, we should have 1,000 likes. It's only 210 likes so far.
I know that is a little depressing from everyone. We got 1,200 people watching, 1,150, whatever it is, 209 likes. Come on, everyone, let's go. Do you want to hit a couple of these? I mean.
Yeah, let's hit a couple right now.
Duke's chiming in, and you've got a whole bunch from
Duke.
him. And
Duke's the first segment super chatter. We got to get him in here.
So $20 from the Duke. How awesome was it to watch the Cubs walk off the stinky Sox? I saved that clip of Bragg's elation, Hoge's disbelief as one of the best moments of CHGO Bears. Right up there with getting the first pick.
It was a similar reaction, too. Lawrence likes to point out that in both, reactions, I'm doing this kind of like gorilla move. Yeah, it is. That's what it is. I get excited.
That was one of the great moments in the history of the show last night. So congratulations. That was fantastic.
Well, I mean,
You're welcome.
congratulations to Christopher
I
Morel.
set it up, and it was perfect.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Great producing job by everybody, putting those fun clips out. They were a lot of fun to watch all night. I didn't go to bed until like 5 in the morning. I was so excited.
And he was smoking a cigar, and 2 hours later.
He was smoking a cigar when I went to bed, and he was smoking one when I woke up.
It's just
in a hot tub.
It was the same cigar. I just finished it off.
Disgusting.
Did you sleep in the hot tub?
Yes.
Real quick, we got a couple more from the Duke. I'll hit this one right now. This is another $10. He said, be honest, are other Bears media outlets jealous of how awesome the CHGO fan base is?
I don't know. Nick said yes from off camera.
If Nick says yes, then it must be yes.
Somebody confused Chris Emma and Greg brags tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, from
like
the back, from like 10 feet away.
I love
okay.
Chris. Chris is
So
my guy.
we love
But
Emma.
apparently the person
Did
was
Chris just play it
the
off like
person
he
was
was
yelling
Bragg's?
Meatball Island at Chris Emma, which
Yep.
is the best part of the story.
Yes.
So.
Sorry, Chris.
That's great.
Welcome to our
It's a
world.
tough moment for Emma.
Dapper Dan 343 likes up, bear down. That's simple, and I agree. Let's see. We do have. Should we get more into PJ later? Because I got a couple PJ questions.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is Dapper Dan, another one. 1,000 watching, 1,000 likes. Yeah, Dapper Dan is all over our likes for us. Thank you, Dapper Dan. Here we go. $5 from Keys. I'm looking forward to Tyler Scott redeeming himself on Saturday. Tons of reps. Also, I think Zach Pickens is going to become a shell of himself.
Tyler Scott ain't playing on Saturday.
Yeah, that's not going to help.
Yeah. Tyler Scott not practicing the last 2 days. He left practice Monday, didn't practice yesterday. We saw him out there today, but he was not practicing, so I would think he's.
But what's this? I think Zach Pickens is going to be going to become a shell of himself. I don't know if I agree with that.
I've liked what I've seen from Pickens so far, and I'm definitely, obviously, super curious to see more.
Yeah, and I think those guys probably will play, Pickens and Dexter, in the game. So that'll be fun to see them out there.
Dexter's got a wrap on his right leg, I believe, which I noticed today. Braggs
He had it yesterday as
had
well.
it yesterday.
Yep.
So not a huge deal, but
He took a shot to his leg. Everybody saw that.
I'm not saying it's a big deal. I'm just telling you his leg. He's got an extra wrapping on his leg, just for knowledge sake. Here, I know no stone unturned here, Hoge.
Carm, you're right. We were the eyes and ears for a lot of the people watching. So, yeah, he had a
Just
wrap
letting
on
you
one of
know.
his legs. We'll stick with a sort of D-line question here. This is from Eric Forsell, 499. Says, how did the pass rush look today against the Colts O-line? Anything notable from the D-line?
You know, like the pass rush itself wasn't like, ultra impressive per se. The secondary and their coverage was more impressive to me. Richardson looked around over and over again, couldn't find a lot of guys open. There was a time when like they're in the red zone 7-on-7 or 11-on-11 and like you're out there for 10 minutes and he only has like one completed pass. Like that's really impressive. The best thing I saw from the defensive line today, one was a great run stuff by Andrew Billings. And then another one was a tackle for loss from Javon Dexter. Just blew up into the backfield, took that ball carrier down. I mean, that kid was excited to make that play, and the teammates rallied behind him too. So that was
Terrell Lewis was back there too. Dexter got there first, but
Right.
they were both hunting.
okay. Yeah, Nick and I were behind everything, and we had a perfect window of Dexter just shooting that gap and making that tackle.
Yep.
All right, Will, we're going to bring Nick in, I think. Any final thoughts before you get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to carry on that conversation that we had last night right before I left about the Bears being the team that brings the energy. And I got to see the defense today, and I felt that more today than I did yesterday watching the offense. And it's just a testament of the Hits philosophy and principles, a testament of this team. And it doesn't matter if it's first, second, or third string, that defense is bringing the energy. If they're down starters, doesn't matter. So no matter who makes this team come week one, who's out there on the field, this Bears defense will not back down from no one.
I like it. I like it. Well, we'll be at the game Saturday with Nick. Also, you guys are hosting the game preview show tomorrow.
Yeah, CHGO Audible tomorrow.
Let's
So,
go.
and it's at, I believe, 4:30.
4:30 Eastern.
3:30 Chicago.
So 3:30 Chicago time.
Finally get back to Central Time Zone tomorrow. Thank God. Sorry, Will.
It's
I know
okay.
you
I'm
live
only-
in
I'm only
Eastern
slightly
time
offended.
zone.
You've been here for 2 days.
I hate Eastern Time Zone.
It's been 2 days.
It is the worst.
It is rough. I will admit
It
it
is
rough.
the worst.
I mean, I don't know. The sun was out till almost 9 o'clock.
I know. I
That was
liked it
kinda
that
cool.
the sunset was later here.
It's been 2
Imagine
days.
trying to put a baby down though, and it's like sunny at like
surprise.
9,
Yeah,
10
You
that-
guys
oh, that's the
disagree
worst.
with me.
Well, great stuff.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
seeing you here the last couple of days.
Thank you,
Uh,
Will.
Will DeWitt, make sure you're following him, and you'll get
Real quick, Martin Pellicore threw us $2, and he says, "Sorry, late to the show. Why won't Fields play?" So let's just quickly catch him up.
Oh, yeah. So it's basically the coaching staff made a decision that because of the joint practices, because he got work in against an actual opponent the last 2 days, that he does not need to face unnecessary risk in the game on Saturday. So he's out. There's still a chance that he could play next week, but there's no injury. There's nothing like that. They're just holding him out because of the joint practices, and what they needed to accomplish the last 2 days was accomplished. So we'll see if he plays next week against the Bills because, of course, there are no joint practices next week. All All right, I want to make sure you guys know Hooters is your spot to catch all the games this season. Step up to the plate for world-famous wings, delicious seafood, stacked sandwiches, salads, and more. Tons of great beer specials and $6 drinks all day, every day. Check out the seafood specials, $19.83 for a pound of crab legs. That's $19.83 for a pound of crab legs, and great prices on buffalo and steamed shrimp. Hooters is celebrating the 40 years in business all year long. That's why the price is $19.83. In honor of the anniversary, on the 4th of every month, Hooters will be hosting throwback events, bringing the 80s back with 83-cent wings and other great specials. The next one is coming up on September 4th.
And let's shout out our friends at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Sunnyside, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality superstar products. By the way, Will's walking out the door right now. Great to have Will here. Great jobs. We'll see you tomorrow at 3:30 Central for the Audible show. The Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, by the way, it's just a welcoming location. When you get in there, you're going to be treated like you were a longtime friend, kind of like how Greg Braggs is treated right here at Bears and Colts training camp when he's just walking around. They understand cannabis over there, and they're here to meet your needs at any level of expertise, and just a positive, upbeat attitude. They're making you feel comfortable, and they've got everything you would want from their minis, their good news, their Cresco, their high supply, Florical, Wonder. There is tastes and delights for any of your palates that you may have out there. Through August, rest of the month, head to sunnyside.shop. Sunnyside.shop. Use the code CHGO25 at checkout, and you get 25% off your total order. One use per customer, not stackable with other promotions, and it's not only for new customers. Anyone can use our code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. You do have to be 21 or over or an Illinois Med card holder. Once again, that's sunnyside.shop. Use that code CHGO25.
Sunnyside, the official sponsor of Joint Practices.
Heyo.
And CHGO Bears Training Camp coverage brought to you by the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. Learn more at ComEd.com/poweringbizz. All right, Nick, welcome to the show. Over there crushing it with all the coverage on allchgo.com. Make sure everybody's going there to check it out. Since you're joining us now, your best and worst of
Yes,
the day.
so I'm actually writing it in the article today. The top play that I saw was Anthony Richardson 7-on-7. He was looking to his right. He had Michael Pittman isolated on Jalen Johnson. He's playing press coverage. Pittman's bigger than Johnson. He's got about 20 pounds on him, got the height advantage, tries to muscle him out of the way. Johnson's not giving up, not giving any ground. Richardson's looking to his right, has nowhere to go with the football, grounds it. And that whole entire period, you guys, Anthony Richardson, the only time he really scored was when he ran the ball. And that secondary, that D-line, and when it carried over to team drills as well, Anthony Richardson throwing the football did not look comfortable in my eyes watching the Bears defense for the first time in today's practice against a Bears defense that's missing Tremaine Edmonds, missing Jaquan Brisker, missing guys on the defensive line. So it was really impressive to see how the Bears defense really affected the rookie quarterback. My worst from today, I did mention that Anthony Richardson was able to do some things with his legs. And again, I don't know how realistic it is when you see him take off and you don't know exactly where he's going to get tackled. You're not supposed to hit the quarterback and things like that. So there were a couple times, though, where Anthony Richardson was able to use his physical abilities to kind of create some big plays on this Bears defense. But for the most part, I thought that Bears defense looked really well against the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say the Bears won these two practices.
I would say so.
I'll say it.
I still didn't particularly like the results in that really long 4-minute period. Sort of the same thing as yesterday, but
Yeah.
One area where I can totally buy the idea that these practices are more valuable than the preseason games is we know preseason games can be fool's gold. No better example than the Bears-Seahawks game of last year. One team was a playoff team, the other was not, and it certainly did not look that way in that game on that day in Seattle. It was the opposite. But I think over the course of 2-hour practices where you have the starters out there, 11 on 11, 7 on 7, whatever you're doing, at the end of those 2 days, I think you get a better idea of which team's the better football team. And I remember that when the Bears practice against the Patriots a few years ago, the Patriots are better. And that that was like the early part of John Fox, Ryan Pace era. So, but I think it says something that I think we come out of these 2 days and it's supposed to be that way because the Colts should be a down team this year, as they were last year. I think the Bears should have been better, and they were, and I think that counts for something.
You know what, too, Adam? It doesn't even trickle down to just offense, defense. When they were doing the kick return drills for each team, the Bears had some big kickoff returns.
They did.
They were having some good blocks and physicality and creating lanes. Reed.
Joe Reed had a legitimate return that may have been an actual touchdown in a live period because he had one really sick move, and then he one guy to beat, and who knows how that last guy would have gone if it's live tackling, but it still looked like he had a chance. Regardless, it was a really good return.
And he's taking advantage of no Velus Jones Jr., Tyler Scott being in there. But then when you saw the Colts do the returning drills, they're getting met at like the 20-yard line. Like there's not these open lanes that Reed, had on some of these plays, but it wasn't just the offense and defense. It trickled down to the third phase too, where you saw the Bears were winning those periods. So I would agree that the Bears, after 2 days, I watched the offense primarily on day one or night one and defense on night two. Collectively, I would give the Bears a victory in this one.
I would say the Bears were the more professional team. They just seemed more well organized, I would say. And as far as the most important position on the field, Justin Fields can throw the football with accuracy and success right now way more than Anthony Richardson can. I also think that Anthony Richardson, after watching 2 days, is going to run for 2,000 yards. That guy is going to be a problem on the ground. I mean, first of all, he doesn't see the field, doesn't look like he does at least. He's holding it all the time, so he's going to be running a ton, and he is that fast, and he is that big, so he's going to get numbers. I think that's obvious.
All right, let's get back to a question Braggs asked earlier because I found it intriguing. And you can re-ask it if you want, but it's basically, are there any starters you're worried about after training camp?
Right. I'm just trying to look through it. I keep picking on P.J. Walker, it seems like, in every show.
Well, he's not a starter.
Exactly. It's easy, and that's what I'm saying. It's easy to go after the backups. But just looking at the starters across the board, I'm just very encouraged by this team. But I also know that I do put the rosy colored glasses on at times. Not going to pretend like we don't at Meatball Island.
I know.
So, trying to look at this objectively, like I would love to know who you think.
So I was trying to think about this during, while we were doing other things in my brain. And I mean, I'm thinking defensively, the only thing I'm worried about is right now the health of the safeties. So if we're taking injury out of it, because you seem to be asking the question more of just like their performance.
Right.
Because I was going to lean towards on the offensive line. Just the fact that Nate Davis hasn't been out there. But again, that's more injury related than anything else. I was more worried about the tackles a week ago, and then they played pretty decent in the game, and I think they had a decent week of practice. I didn't notice any, the glaring issues didn't seem to pile up this week against the Colts, which I think counts for something. So the only thing I can think of right now that would be the third wide receiver spot. And again, you can say it's partly due to injury, but it also is, we've been talking about Chase Claypool for a while now. And I'm just now, you got Velus out, Tyler Scott. It's just, they may be a little thin there.
I was going to answer it the same way because I'm actually worried that DJ Moore is going to be exhausted by week one. He has caught the ball so much in training camp already. It's like this guy comes out every single day and is making play after play after play. And in the last 2 days, he's getting hit some. It's been a very, very, very impressive camp for him. So but for me, you said the three. Like I still haven't seen Fields connect enough with the two. There hasn't been him and Darnell Mooney are not really in sync like you would want to see.
Last 2 days they've had a couple nice connections, but overall.
Oh yeah, Carm, you actually called. You were like, "Oh, Mooney's gonna get a touchdown on this play," and he did it on that play. But like I think you walked away 3 plays later. He did.
Yeah,
same corner.
And on that one, he was open too. So but Fields has overshot him a bunch, and on deep balls they've tried it a ton. It hasn't really worked out. So I'm just if you're looking to nail down a spot of where whoever is behind DJ is going to be productive.
But just real quick, again, though, even with bringing up Claypool, like Claypool was having a good camp before he got hurt. So
I heard he was dominating.
He was the best player on the field, according to Greg Braggs. Dominating. Yeah. But to be honest, again, it's like, so if you're asking just performance related, like how PJ Walker's clearly struggling, is there a single starter on the offense that you would point to that's been like, he's having a rough camp? I cannot think of one.
That's really encouraging. Do you got one?
The guy that maybe is flirting in that area, has he had a bad camp? Maybe Braxton Jones. I mean, he's talked about himself where his hands are not in the right place. I know I had one play jotted down in my notes yesterday where he got beat off the edge and gave up a sack against Fields, but
he looked good today.
You guys were watching the offense today, but that's the one starter that I'm going to keep my eye on because he's been really critical of himself. So I want to see if he can just bring it consistently throughout the regular season, get better as the season goes on. But I mean, that's the only player that I can think of right now that is like you're worried about going through the season.
Well, because even with Braxton Jones, where they talk about the screen pass, where in the preseason game where he opened it up, one could make an argument it was a block in the back.
It was really close.
It was close. You know what I mean? Like
the angle.
Hoge's calling it was. I mean, that's fine as long as they get away with it, they don't call it. It's not a flag. But I guess the easiest answer is the center position. Cody Whitehair had a few fumbled snaps.
Everyone's is so concerned about Doug Kramer, except for I think myself. I think he can step in and do it.
Well, Flus was very complimentary about how he calls the.
I see a lot of people in the chat saying Nate Davis. I am trying to take injury out of it. We don't really
performance.
Know.
Like who has performed bad in practice?
If Nate Davis plays, I'm fairly confident he's going to play well. We just haven't seen him play.
Braggs is asking: is there a single starter that you look at and you're like, that's a problem?
You suck.
Yeah.
Who's the weakest star on this team? You can also look at it that way. I mean,
but and that's why I think it comes back to PJ Walker, even though he's not a starter. Like maybe the biggest concern right now on the roster, just based on if taking health out of it, just do you have if a player goes down, can that player play well coming in? I mean, and I didn't envision that being a problem. I'm the first guy. I liked that signing. I thought it was a good complementary piece, good fit to just stylistically. PJ Walker, Law said this is middle of practice. I think that was you. He had the best throw in all the NFL last year. Did you say that or was somebody else?
I wish that was me.
Yeah, someone else made that point. I apologize to whoever said that.
God, I was smart.
Well, let's hold on a second, though. Look, they did not get to the quarterback last year, and we have no real evidence that they can do it now. So if you're looking for what's their weak spot, it is going to be up front on the defensive line. Who's going to do it? And maybe Yannick Ngakoue is going to step right in there. We haven't seen him play a ton. And maybe DeMarcus Walker will do it. We haven't seen him play a ton. And he was out there a little bit tonight.
But back to the question, the DNs have actually been pretty good.
Right.
Well, they did have 8 sacks last week.
I mean,
as a whole unit.
Right,
on Hoge and Johns, that's one of the things Ryan Poles talked about as like a surprise development. That these defensive ends, like I didn't think, even when Rasheem Green was like dominating OTAs with pads.
Terrell Lewis, man.
I was like, okay, we'll see if that's kept. And he, still pretty good, although the game was okay. Terrell Lewis, I wrote him down today. He hit another nice rush.
And I'm standing on it now that camp's completely through. We didn't see Yannick Ngakoue. And DeMarcus Walker has been hurt. So I'm standing on it. Terrell Lewis has been the Bears' best pass rusher all of camp. That's something I truly believe in. And it translated in the preseason game as well. So I'm going to trust my eyes when I say that.
There's others that agree with you there. He certainly looks like he's going to get an opportunity. I just went in a whole direction of what's your biggest concern. The D-line on the whole, there's only so much you can see when it's limited with the amount of pads, but I would say the D-line has played well to this point. I'm still concerned that once we get in there, can they actually get pressure and do it? Yeah. Maybe they can, but that's still the biggest question for me going into the year.
It was my meatball reverse psychology to try to find something and I knew you guys wouldn't be able to because this team is so much fun and they're going to be great this year.
Super Bowl.
Bears. I'm very excited for this season, and I am very encouraged for this team. But they do have to get healthy, as DeMarcus Walker said to the media. He's excited to get the gangsters back because funny. I get it, man. These guys that are out right now are some of the dogs on this team. You need those guys for week 1.
It just made me realize that something didn't add up because DeMarcus Walker said they hadn't talked about who was playing in the game. Somebody was lying.
Would an NFL coach or would they do that? No way.
A couple names from the chat that might help you guys out. Rashad H said, "What about Herbert in pass pro? Because if there hasn't been strides, then his role as a starter is ultimately in jeopardy, isn't it?" And then Hassan said, "Justin Jones at 3 tech is a bit underwhelming, to be honest." And finally, the ya boy Boogie says the weakest starter is probably Staley the Mascot.
Well, yeah, I mean, we needed him down here with Blue assaulting us from the Colts mascot, you know.
Have you applied for that gig?
No.
You'd be so good.
Staley?
Don't you think?
No.
You don't think that's your calling in life?
No, because Staley doesn't talk.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
That
my
couldn't-
God,
yeah,
yeah,
that
that
kind of
couldn't
work.
do that.
I love that.
You
role
could be the
for
first
Greg.
talking mascot.
I couldn't do
You
it.
literally would walk around and be like,
I think it's the perfect job for Greg.
yeah.
I literally physically could not do it because I physically cannot stop talking.
You just hear him yelling out of that mask.
Is Staley talking?
Still a lot of super chats, a lot of PJ Walker stuff. I've got a couple.
Here, we'll get to the supers here in a second. Sometimes in life, we're faced with tough choices, and the path forward isn't always clear. Whether you're dealing with decisions about your career, relationships, or anything else, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life so you can move forward with confidence and excitement. Trusting yourself to make decisions that align with your values is like anything. The more you practice it, the easier it gets. And if you're thinking of starting therapy, and you should think about it, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. All you do is you fill out a brief questionnaire. You'll get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge if there's any issues. Head to betterhelp.com/CHGO. Answer a few questions about yourself and your goals. You'll receive an email once you're matched and start connecting with your therapist. And then from there, you can start scheduling sessions. A number of us here have benefited from therapy. We're big believers in therapy, and BetterHelp is a great way to get started. Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/CHGO today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/CHGO. I made a comment in the middle of golfing today about how I need to schedule a BetterHelp therapy session.
I left golf in the middle. At least I should have gotten a BetterHelp. That would have been a good move for me. Hey, students are just like you at Lewis University. Full-time jobs, families, full-time sports fans, the whole thing. You can up your income potential and your satisfaction in life by going back to school and earning a respected degree at Lewis University, 35 miles southwest of Chicago in Romeoville. You can go with the classes, you can do them online, you can do a combo. They've got everything for you as far as how you want to go back and get a graduate degree or an undergrad degree. They've got criminal justice and public safety, they got data science, they got computer science, cybersecurity, business analytics, a bunch of these on both the grad and undergrad level. It's really a phenomenal place to go back to school and get yourself to the next level. Discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. Learn more at lewisu.edu/you can do this. lewisu.edu/you can do this.
Go check out Lewis University, guys, and you have to check out Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. And Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn here at CHGO. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. I have my Shady Rays in my car. I'm sure there's a bunch of Shady Rays lying around the Airbnb here. Easy access. You're going to look good, and it's going to protect your eyes while you're doing it. And what's awesome is if you lose or break your pair, even on day one, you guys, they told us they'll send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is going to give you the best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
All right, super chats piling up. We appreciate them. Let's dive in, Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh my, there's many. Let's see here. Now, first of all, this just came in a second ago from Kyle Cookjohn, 1999. He says, Why did y'all skip my last message about the financials of your Bears-related travel? I don't remember even seeing that, but also we don't need to tell you anything about finances of our travel. I don't what does that mean?
The super chat helps towards those finances, so we appreciate you.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate the super chat, Kyle. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm sorry if I missed it, Kyle. I don't know. I swear I'm grabbing all these super chats. They are flying in, though. Next up, let's just get to this one out of the way because she actually sent 2 because her last name is difficult. I saw the first one, and I saw her name, and I was like, oh, this will be fun. Let's try it. Jen Casiuba is what I'm going to go with. And she just said Meatball Island for life for $2. And then she followed it up and said, also bet you don't pronounce my last name correctly. So, Jen, how did I do?
Jen Kachuba.
I was going to say Kachuba.
Ooh, let's see what she says. You got a comment here, Jen. We want to see it.
Jen Kachuba. The meatballs always know.
Chugging her way to Meatball Island to hang out with.
Well, see, I'm mayor of Meatball Island. I think I was talking to Adam Rank a couple days ago. I think he should be the president. You know, he's kind of fit the mold for all of us. Now we're looking for like the Coast Guard and everybody else. You're not invited. Don't worry about it.
That's great. Thank you.
The Coast Guard of Meatball Island.
Yeah, we got
the Coast Guard.
Border Patrol, all that, everything.
Chubbs.
Got to fill it up.
Chubbs.
We can get Chubbs in there somewhere.
Chubbs in there.
Got to get him a roll.
Well,
that guy that told me to F off in that clip you
that's
played for me. I like that clip. That was hilarious.
My guy CB.
Yeah.
All right, well,
appreciate you, CB. That was great.
Your dudes that I talked to tonight, they're way more normal than you.
Shout out to Chris Hanlon and Alex Acevedo. They are, and Heath. They're all great names.
Yeah, they were great dudes.
Well, speaking
great
of
time with
Chubbs 82,
Yes, I love my Chubb super
he's
chats.
one of our PJ Walker super chats. He said, let's just say it out loud, PJ Walker should be cut.
No. We're not there, chubby chub. Settle down.
Chubby checkers.
Well, real quickly, like PJ Walker, I was talking to Will, and I'm like, whenever the Colts defense needs a resurgence of energy, put in number 15, PJ Walker. What does he do the very next play, you guys? He throws an interception. The freaking Colts players are jumping up for joy. Like we've kind of been talking about, it just hasn't been a good camp for him. Maybe he just needs to be reconnected with DJ Moore. I don't know what it is, but we do need to see him start playing better. We're going to have a really good opportunity on Saturday to see him go against his Colts.
That's a fair point. I mean, the highlights that we're referencing of PJ Walker is with a first-team offense with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Throwing to DJ Moore to win the game.
On the move.
Well, it could have won the game, but then DJ took
DJ.
his helmet off, which he's got to make sure he doesn't do for the Bears. But great moment for PJ and DJ for the touchdown to tie the game, right?
Yeah.
Well, it would have, except for a former Bears kicker, or he's the one who missed.
He took the helmet off,
DJ
and then
Moore, yeah.
former Bears kicker missed it. Regardless,
Eddie
we've
Pinheiro.
seen nice throws in his highlight reel as a starter, but now he's playing with second-team offensive line, second-team wide receiver, second-team tight end. Not an excuse. He has not played well, and I'm not certainly going to. He has to have a huge Saturday. No Justin Fields. He's going to play a healthy 2 quarters. I would say they're going to probably split it, right, between him and Bajent.
Peterman's
You
going to be
think
in
he'll
there
get
too.
some in there?
Yeah,
I think so.
He
Yeah.
played last week. Yeah. By the way, PJ Walker's not getting cut. 2-year, $4.15 million contract with $2 million or so guaranteed.
He going nowhere.
If it doesn't work out this year, then maybe you let him go in the offseason. But we got a lot of time left here.
I do. The next time we have Ryan Poles on the show, I am going to make a plea. At some point, not tomorrow, not the next day, but at some point, if you could just please get Gardner Minshew to the Bears as a backup, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Teddy Bridgewater would have made a lot of sense, too.
I mean,
Teddy.
Isn't Teddy still out there?
No,
No,
he's
he's
signed.
number 50 on the Lions, isn't he?
50?
I swear to God I saw
he's
that, unless that was a lie.
No, he's.
I take
something
my
like that.
comment back. You can't wear 50 as a quarterback.
That's so weird.
Weird.
I don't know if that was a real tweet or not, but I saw.
I think it was.
Jen has chimed back in. She says, "I'm a first grade teacher. Ha! This is what I tell them. Kashuba." And yes, it's Polish. But she said, "La, but nice try." Thank you, Jen. I tried.
Appreciate it, Jen.
You are
Appreciate
correct.
the
He's
super
wearing
chat.
50. Thank you, Jen.
All right. And then, Kyle has chimed back in here. He said, only super chatting because I love watching Nick's rise to the top of Chicago's sports media fandom. Carm, ... 3 thumbs down, but respect his old wisdom.
Sorry, Carmen.
Such a
It's amazing how much joy you get when people come at me. It's
Oh,
true.
I know,
It's truly.
We
Thank
shouldn't
you,
have read
Kyle.
it.
No,
We
no,
shouldn't
no,
read
no,
the
no,
last
no,
part.
no, we
That's
should.
mean. Why
He-
you put a super chat and put something mean?
He's
at the
allowed
end?
to say whatever he wants to say.
Yeah.
Man's entitled
The
to
only
his
person
incorrect
is
opinion.
allowed to be mean to Carm is me.
I don't know about
Okay.
that. This is from the Cubs. That's two U's in
buddy.
Cubs. $5. Did PJ Walker have to change up his footwork to fit Getsy's offense the same way that Justin Fields has had to?
That's a great question and one that should be asked to PJ Walker.
oh yeah.
And
Maybe.
That's interesting. And the other thing that you guys just mentioned, kind of like in passing, that I think is interesting, he's not getting to work with DJ Moore a whole lot. So it's going to be harder.
Mhm.
And it also speaks to what Justin was
Sure.
working with last year.
Yeah. I mean, he's not. Yeah, and he's not getting reps with Darnell Mooney either.
But the overthrows, man, they're not even close.
you're also-
Yeah, I mean,
they're not
that's
even
it, yeah,
close.
But you're also playing second team defensive line, second team
exactly.
corners, and you've got Tyler Scott on the second team wide receivers,
Bayless is-
Equinemius St. Brown. You know,
I like him. The dude can sling it. He's going to be fine. Damn it.
I hope so.
One more PJ one here. Actually, wait. There's two more PJ ones. Let's do these together. So this is Clayton.
later.
Not going anywhere. Don't worry.
Okay, he's just standing. He's stretching. What's he doing?
He was doing stretching.
Okay. Clayton says, since PJ is struggling, go every other quarter or possession PJ and Bajent. See if we need to roster Bajent or risk a claim. Please no Peterman.
It's nap time for
And then, wait, so then kind of along with that was, okay.
Did you just leave the set to go get a bag of Sour Patch Kids?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Like,
and
I think
I
there's
want
like
a snack.
one.
If
And,
there was ever
and
a moment,
There's pizza from Brandon, and you go get the Sour Patch Kids.
I want the
honestly,
last,
that was the most Braggs move you could ever do.
I
what
want
you
the
just
last
did right
Sour Patch Kid. Somebody just insulted me with 3 thumbs down. I need a candy.
See what you guys do.
So we're talking PJ and Tyson. So Clayton sort of asked about maybe going every other quarter, every other possession. And then Mark Gauthier for $19.99 says, should Tyson Bajent, how am I saying? Is it Agent Bajent?
It's Bajent, yeah.
Bajent. Should he make the 53 instead of Peterman? Develop the kid and maybe get a pick for him in the future. No one's going to give you anything for Peterman ever.
100.
Glad you all survived the golf round. England, which I love that. He's like, glad you
Yeah.
all survived the golf round period. England period, because we
He's
know
from
he is
England.
from England.
That's right. He's our guy, Mark Gauthier.
Gauthier.
I think Bajent over Peterman's a possibility.
There's a conversation there. Yeah, you can have that conversation.
I like how he leads receivers. He showed some things in the last preseason game. Granted, it's third string.
Is there
players.
anybody on this panel right now that is fighting to keep Nathan Peterman on the roster? This shouldn't even be a conversation. Bajent over Peterman. Goodbye, Nathan Peterman. Thank you so much for your time.
Tank
You could be
commander.
you could be on the practice squad. That's totally fine if you want to keep 2 on the practice squad. But come on, Bajent, let's go. Dreams.
Wow, there we go. I love
By
it.
the way, speaking of pronunciations, I went straight to the source today. Jatiri Carter.
Tyree.
Yes. And he said we can also call him JT.
That's easier. JT.
You better learn that name too,
But
because
it's
he's going to get playing time
Jatiri.
this year.
He said it's exactly how it looks. Jatiri.
Tyree.
Yeah.
Tyree.
Kyle, another $1.99 says, love you long time, Carm. Here's $2 more. See, everything's good in Carm land.
That's my man. That's my man. That's my man.
Okay, let's get back to the Duke at $10. I'm concerned with Justin being held out of the next game. Minor injury? 3 question marks. The clip of him getting hit at practice looked like that D lineman rolled up on his ankle a bit.
Like from yesterday?
Yeah, that was yesterday.
No, he was out there fine today. It's not injury related. I wouldn't be worried about it.
Yeah, I think
He's fine.
I think we're fine, Duke. And the Duke does have a good idea here. He said for $5 says, at the Bears pregame tailgate, you all better be serving meatballs.
I mean, I think it has to be there
Gotta
now.
be meatball.
I mean, we really should be looking into a meatball sponsor for sure.
I agree.
Can you tell anybody anything about the tailgate situation this year?
Not yet.
Not
yet.
yet. I can't.
I'm
But
very
we
excited
will be having tailgates, and when we announce them, you're gonna want to come. So just clear your plans for week 1 and on, because we're gonna have some great tailgates this year.
It's a new
It'll be
level
fun.
coming. New level.
All right, vibing with the dogs.
What kind
Elise.
of gummy was this?
Yeah.
Those
Sunny
are,
side.
those are over there too.
Oh, yeah. Sunny side.
So Vibing with the Dog says, I pray Cody's injury isn't bad because now we're down to Kramer. Guess my question is, should we be concerned about the center position during the season? And then he also threw in another $2 to say backup will be Dieter Iceland at center.
Josh Lugg, the lug nut.
Well, I mean, Dieter's gotten reps at center early on in camp, I remember. But if Cody can't stay healthy, like, you want to have stability up front. And not to say that Doug can do that. I feel more comfortable with Cody Whitehair being your center than Doug Kramer. I mean, I think we all agree
I still
with
think if Lucas Patrick's healthy, he's ahead of Doug Kramer.
that's
too.
true. Yeah. I forget about Lucas.
Well, because he's not healthy.
Never healthy.
All right.
Doug Kramer is gonna lay the wood. Doug Kramer, guy to watch Saturday night. Doug Kramer.
I'm going to
Yes,
talk
Lawrence.
to Doug.
I think Braggs and Carm should not talk.
Yeah.
The
I'm
rest of
down.
the
How
show.
do I get thrown in this? See what happens? I get lumped in with the
No,
lug nut.
no, because it has to do.
He literally, I was in the chat. You lumped me in.
I would rather hear my 2-year-old cry for 5 hours than go through that golf round again
It was
with
rough.
you two.
That was not fun.
That's why I stayed and played video games.
Yeah, Nick
Smart
made,
choice.
Nick made a good
And
choice.
I'm gonna
ran
go.
5
I'm
miles.
gonna when I get done with Hogan Johns tomorrow. I'm gonna go play 18 by myself in silence. That's what I'm gonna do.
That sounds lovely.
Let me just let everybody know what happened today. Hoge had a very rough day on the course. He was not feeling it, and now he's blaming me and Braggs. And I'm totally fine with you blaming Braggs.
I did not have a rough
God.
day. I shot a 94 in awful conditions.
Yeah, it was pouring.
I started bad.
All right, everybody wants the update in the chat.
Listen.
No,
Carm
not-
beat me.
What
Not
update?
really everyone. I think 4
There's
people.
there's a handful of people that want the update. Carm beat me by 3 strokes. It was by far and away my worst day golfing since I started 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Worst day.
With his he shoots in the low 90s. Remember, everybody.
Yeah,
And he
I
was-
have every time I golf at Oak Knoll.
Until he shot today in 109.
Yeah, and I had. Now, we don't have to get into the logistics, but did I not bounce back after the 3rd hole?
What'd you shoot on the
Yeah.
front?
I mean, yeah, he played better after.
What
the
did you
third
shoot
hole.
on the front?
You only shot 2 strokes better than me on the front.
Greg,
I
answer.
shot a 54. You shot a 52 on the front.
What'd you shoot on the back?
55, and it
it happens
poured
every
raining
time.
for the last 4 holes.
Guys,
it happens
screaming about
every
how he
time.
bounced back. He was worse
were
on
worse
the back.
on the back.
Pouring.
Every
Can
time.
Lawrence help me out here?
It was pouring for the last 3
I
holes.
hated this
4.
8 hours ago, and I hate it now. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You guys brought it up.
But here's from our guy Chubbs. I don't know why he just threw $2 to this, but I think he likes Jen. He says, "I'm hot for teacher. Let's go Poland." Tear it down.
Wait, what?
Let's finish strong. Can we finish strong? Let's finish strong.
let's finish strong. Here's one from Big Cram for $9.99.
Thank God.
God, he has such a great avatar. It's you doing the pew pew thing from Studio H. That's amazing. He says, after yesterday's show about Carm's Stevenson take, along with him wanting players to admit they didn't catch the ball, I've come to the unquestionable conclusion that Carm, you have soft hands, brother.
I do have soft hands. I use great lotion, and I'm very proud of my hands. Thank you, Big Cram.
I like it. Good response.
Not even remotely running away from that.
And final super chat at the moment, unless y'all keep doing it. This is $9.99 from Eric Forsell. Just wanted to say that I look forward to these shows every day. Thanks for all y'all do.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you,
Eric.
In all seriousness, it was unbelievable during training camp just seeing all the CHGO fans, viewers, listeners out there, especially down here in Indy. I mean, I was looking at the crowd at one point today, and it was at least half Bears fans, which makes sense. But so many of them just yelling down CHGO, yelling Meatball Island at Chris Emma, whatever it was, handing us a pizza, which was insane.
Amazing.
And we really appreciate it because it's what we're building here at CHGO. We by far had the biggest force down here in terms of Bears coverage and the amount of people that were down here. So we appreciate to that super chat earlier about our Bears travel. We could just say ALLCITY does a tremendous job of, investing the coverage that needs to be covered because we were, banging the table a few weeks ago. Hey, we got to be down there in Indy. We, the Bears are going, we got to go. And that's what we're doing here at CHGO. If you guys go, we go.
Emptying. Thank you to everything that Adam said, and I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it 1,000 more times. When you say hello to us, it makes all of our days, and certainly makes my day. Emptying my notebook here as we're wrapping up just training camp from today real quick, or do you got more?
The Duke just threw us $20, so let's get to the Duke before your notebook. That is,
and then I'm going to bed.
Yeah, the Duke says, I've been lightheartedly critical of Carm in the chat with my hashtag Carm's crap takes, etc. But reality is, Carm is an outstanding media member and member of CHGO. Love you, Carm.
Thank you, Duke. Don't. I appreciate it, and just remember, we're in this together, brother. I know where your heart is, Duke, and I appreciate. You can come at me all you want on anything that I say. That's of course brilliant, but if you disagree, you disagree. Okay.
Sorry, Chubbs, 82, $2. I am the sheriff of Meatball Island.
There you go. There you go. Real fast. Dylan Cole was back out there today. I was actually happy to see 55. Noah Sewell. Mm-hmm. He had a stop at the goal line today. Okay. Noah Sewell's hitting. Liked it. Elijah Hicks with a little spirited deflection in the end zone.
On Michael Pittman. Yep, that was a good play.
That was a very good play. Kyler Gordon, the level of energy from a Kyler Gordon this entire camp, including tonight.
He busted out the Spider-Man
with David Overstreet. They both looked at each other and did the little web shooters.
I think if DJ Moore's dominating the offensive side of the football, I think Kyler Gordon's been the best player on defense.
I agree.
In training camp.
Mm-hmm.
He would be if we were giving MVPs for training camp, Kyler Gordon's my defensive MVP.
Yep, same here.
That's an excellent call. Roshan Johnson took a huge hit tonight, bounced right back up. That was a fun play. And we have not mentioned Steven Carlson, the rookie tight end out of Princeton, 88. He has made a ton of plays.
Yeah.
He really has.
There's no chance.
I understand he's not making the team, but I'm telling you, he has caught the football a lot.
He's had some reps with.
He's not a rookie.
Did I read it wrong?
Yeah.
If I read it wrong, then I apologize.
He's actually okay. He's actually younger than I thought. He's only got 2 years of experience.
I swear I read rookie, but maybe I just.
I thought he'd actually been around for a while. Yeah, no, he's just a free agent. That they signed
my
this
bad.
year.
My eyes were off tonight when I was looking at it because like, how come we're not shouting out 88 at all? Because he's literally made a ton of plays. So he made a bunch more tonight. He's not going to make the team. Practice squad maybe. I don't know, but he's had a good camp.
All right,
let's do it. Let's go back to the hot tub.
I literally just put that in the chat. That is crazy that
you're going in the hot tub.
Oh,
I do have to
I'm
write
going
first,
home.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh my God, it's gonna be so peaceful here tonight.
Just drive.
How
safe.
fast can you get out of here?
I will say, if you want to sign up to go to Cog Hill next Friday and golf with this craziness and see if you're better than me or Carm, sign up. You've got one more day. Yeah. Tomorrow is the cutoff day to join our Cog Hill CHGO Kickoff Classic Friday, August 25th, starting at 9 a.m. On the Cog Hill Golf Course number 2. The Pins and Aces shirt you see on the bottom left available for purchase. So I'm very excited for it. Today was my best day, but next Friday, I'm going to bring it.
Here's what I have to say about the golf real quick before we leave. Okay?
Oh, no, again?
No. And I'm going to say it, and nobody's going to respond, okay?
We'll see.
Yeah, okay. First of all, come out because it's going to be a lot of fun, and I just want to know if you can beat your 109. You shot a 109
Well, we're
today.
doing a scramble, so it's...
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
that's why
fine.
today was the showdown.
It was the showdown, and that's my point. You talk shit for 2 weeks about how you were going to prove that you're going to break 100 and show that you can shoot in the 90s, and you didn't come close. So take the L. Stop blaming Carr.
No. It was
take your L.
Well, I'm not allowed to respond.
Exactly.
It was
Just
a twofold.
take your L.
It was a twofold thing.
You didn't even come close.
Timeout.
Oh my God! You're giving a timeout?
Timeout. I said
talked all that smack.
No. Are you gonna listen? This is quick because then we're leaving. You guys said I'm lying about breaking 100 at Oak Knoll and Crown Point, and I've told you guys that it's not a great course. You didn't believe me, but I have broken 100 every time I've played there. I am willing to admit that there are much tougher courses that I cannot break 100 on. The bet was that I'm better than this Jamoke.
Which you also lost.
Okay, but I lost, and I had a terrible start. I was down 8 strokes after 3.
They all
and
count.
then I cut it down. I got it all the way down to 2. Then he started cheating. Did he not? Provisionals.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah,
all right,
cut it out. I don't want to hear it.
I got 3
Show up
more.
to Cog Hill on Friday, and I'll show you what's up.
Can't take his L.
3 more super chats. Big Cram. Also, missed your guys' show at 12 or 4. Makes my workday go by so much faster. And guys, how does it feel doing a pod with social media star like Nick? Well, we'll be back to those other times.
Well, by the way, we're next week we're back at noon. Our normal time in studio noon. Tomorrow's weird, just with the schedule and travel and all that. So tomorrow's 3:30, and then obviously pre and post Saturday, which we will have for you. Even though Justin Fields not playing, please come join us Saturday, 5:00 pregame. Kickoffs at 6. We'll be with you after the game, and then we're back to noon in studio.
One more from Chubbs. He says,
Yes.
one more just for Carm. Tennis sucks. and the Duke.
Love you, Chubbs.
Last one from the Duke.
Sucks.
The Duke says, stay away from my wife, Nick.
God.
And I'm going to say, please hit the like button. We are so close to 500 likes. There's 1,000 people watching. It's not enough. Give me more. Please hit the like. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, everybody have a good night. I'm not even going to respond. Other than, hey, Hoge, on a level of 1 to 10, I want you to be very honest here. How well did I play today? 1 to 10.
Not great.
Thank you, Lawrence. How well did I play today? 2? A 2
see,
out of
I
10?
thought you said you weren't gonna
I've seen you
respond.
play a lot better.
I was horrible.
You were like a 3.
I was horrible.
We were all horrible. Lawrence was actually the best.
No,
he was
but
the
no,
only one
I
that
was
got a
not-
birdie.
I was not the best at all.
Lawrence was the only one that got a birdie.
You just did
and you're the only one that didn't get a par.
You
so
did
be
a
quiet.
28-minute talk just now about how great your golf game is. I was
I've been
incredible.
golfing 3 weeks.
Yes, exactly. I was incredibly terrible, and I beat you. And you're a slut.
I beat you the first time we played.
Okay.
So be quiet.
Good night.
5 more from the Duke. Actually, Nick, if you want an entertainer, go ahead. Then I can go play more video games. Okay.
Oh boy.
and
Then we're gonna end the show on
we're
that.
gonna
Dude,
end
we
the
love
show.
you.
Thanks, Duke. Love you.